and welcome to the Mr. Spook Show 2018. This is part one of a series of videos, I guess. As I mentioned on my social media, I will be covering this monster movie collection, 16 movies here. So I've watched the first four listed on the back here, and those movies are Snowbeast, Creature from the Haunted Sea, Beast from the Haunted Cave, and The Beast of Yucca Flats, or Yucca Flats. So we're going to go over them briefly, one by one, until we, and then I'll tell you which one's the best of the four. And then we'll do the next parts. I'll do the best of the four, and then I'll rewatch the best of each four, and then decide which movie is the best overall of the 16 movies. So first off, we have Snowbeast, 1977, directed by Herb Wellerstein, made for TV. So this one, let me just read the back of the box for you guys. To prevent panic at a ski resort, several deaths are blamed on a bear, but then a ski patrolman spots a giant shadowy figure disappearing into the woods. That doesn't happen, actually. No ski patrolman spots the big monster going off until near the end of the film, after they already know it's a monster. This movie's actually, it's well acted. It's not bad thinking about it, but it has a very clear-cut formula. It's starts with a ski montage where you watch a certain character ski around. A couple times it ends up with them dead. A couple times it doesn't. So yeah, you get a ski montage, a dialogue scene inside the lodge or inside something, or inside like a building or something, dialogue scene outside, and then more skiing or snowmobiling. So that's the formula. The overall plot is, like I said, there is a snow beast out there that kills a resort person. Like they're at the lodge. I totally forgot, blanked on the name that you would give them. So, and then the movie kind of slows, it starts off with the scary montage, the montage of the beast watching people through the trees, which is hilarious because the trees are all really skinny and they're far enough apart that if you did look out into the woods, every time they did that POV shot of the monster, which is the only way we ever interact with the monster in the film anyway, for the most part, you would totally see it. This stretches being a monster movie just because of how little you actually see the monster. You see an arm and the top hat, this much of it, and most of it's just white fur or gray fur on the back. There's a scene where you see it kind of run off and it's all covered in shaggy gray fur. Basically, the film is really, it's well acted and stuff, and it has all the same beats as fucking Jaws, which came out 2 years before this in 1975. So it's beat for beat Jaws, but with some snow yeti creature. It's actually they even do the scene where where there's the people who don't believe in what happened, and then they figure out something's going down, and then they end up blaming it on a bear, and they actually do bring in the bear, and there's the big celebration scene, just like in Jaws, when they bring on the tiger shark and all that, and then the lady decides, let's cut it open and see if this is actually the creature that's been eating people. Spoilers, they don't actually cut it open because they couldn't afford it. Which is the major problem with this film, is that they couldn't afford to show anything. They didn't show any of the bodies. They didn't show any of the actual killing. So yeah, it's pretty much beat for beat Jaws. So first, the first body is found. You just see the hand with a little bit of blood, like blood. It's like red food coloring, basically. It's not dark enough to be blood. Nobody believes it. Which is pretty sad even for 1977 standards of horror movies. But yeah, like, so you see the hand and that's it. You see a jacket that's covered in blood at one point. That's it. For the creature though, you just see with the same hand prop breaking in windows, breaking in doors. And this movie does the strangest thing ever. Instead of like fading to black or just hard cutting, it fades to red. Like it goes, like it just fades to red over the shot, and then it fades back in to from white. So it goes like to red to white, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen any movie ever do. I don't understand it, but here we are. I think the weird thing about this, so as you keep going, like I said, so you don't see much of the creature. You only see it like 4 times, and even then that's stretching it because you barely even see it. Then it's like a flash, like a frame of the beast, and then that's it. The ending though is absolutely hilarious. It shows pretty much all in POV, a guy shooting at it with a gun, and then it cuts to the guy grabbing up his ski pole, holding it up like this, and then it cuts to the monster POV again, and then you see him just go like grimacing at the camera, going like, and that's it. And then the camera staggers back, like it's staggering back in a POV shot, and you just see the ski pole poking out from the bottom of the frame. It would be like if I did this with a ski pole, basically. It went like that. It was like that, 100%. And the camera was shaking a little bit. So then the monster falls back down this cliff, dead. Our hero has come up, and they just look down, and it doesn't even show the creature dead on the ground. It shows the hero's looking down, like, for 1 second, and then it cuts to credits. And that's Snowbeast. I think I liked it just more on the pure bad entertainment value for it, but that's Snowbeast. Moving on, we have Creature from the Haunted Sea, directed by Roger Corman in 1961. Now, I've heard of Roger Corman. I haven't seen many of his movies. I know he did a Fantastic Four one in the 70s or 80s that wasn't released or something, but you can find the full movie. I should actually watch it. I've heard it's the best version of the cinematic Fantastic Four. Anyway, Creature from the Haunted Sea is about some dudes, a gang of people trying to screw some Cuban loyalists from the Cuban Revolution out of some money. So they take this strong box of gold onto this yacht, and then they end up deciding that they want to fake a sea monster attack, like fake this creature monster thing, sea creature thing. It's from some legend that they just bullshit made up. That starts so they can fake the deaths of the Cuban soldiers and then take the gold. But as soon as they start faking deaths, an actual sea creature shows up. And this sea creature is the dumpiest looking thing ever. It's pretty much only like a thing that you would wear on your chest, like mid chest up. It's like this. It's got like a weird dome. It's very smooth. It's not really like a creature. It's like, so they would move, and the only things that can move are like the upper arms. Everything else is solid, and it's got 2 giant eyes with like 2 giant beady eyes that are shittily painted and don't blink, don't do anything. The monster hardly is in the movie anyway. It spends a lot of time with padding of them just talking, trying to be funny and failing, because this was supposed to be like a parody of these B movie monster movies and spy movies and stuff, but it fails completely. I laughed only a couple times at some of the jokes. Like the opening scene is this guy gets a message to go somewhere and look for a certain person, and then he looks around, he folds up the message, and he eats it, and he pulls out a fake mustache from his while he's still chewing on the paper. He pulls out a fake mustache and puts it on, and that was like the only time I genuinely laughed, because that was actually really funny. But then the movie kind of just really just pads itself out, and they get stuck on an island, and it's like the cheapest thing that they could have done for this movie, because they couldn't afford to shoot on a boat for very long, so they had to crash the boat, get stuck on this island, and then just like shenanigans ensue for a bit. Lots of them just talking and arguing, and it's all like the worst parts of the good movies from like the 50s and 60s. So then the movie ends with all the people dying except for our main hero and a girl he met on the island. Everyone else gets strangled by the monster, and then the movie ends with the monster just sitting on the strongbox and just picking its teeth. It's absolutely hilarious. So I guess this one was pretty bad. I lost a lot of interest in this one. Like, it was awful, and that's why I'm kind of skimming over it a little bit, because it's just not worth watching ever again. So we're gonna move on. That one's like a 2 out of 10. The first one's a 6 out of 10. Snowbeast was 6 out of 10. Moving on, we got Beast from Haunted Cave, directed by Monte Hellman. This one is about another gang of robbers, actually, but these robbers actually pull off a heist. They steal some gold from a vault at a ski resort. I know, fuck it, whatever. Or from a town or something, but there's another ski resort movie in here. Significantly less skiing than in Snowbeast, so I was thankful for that. So this movie spends a lot of time with its characters, and so you learn them all quite nicely. There's the main bad guy, the main good guy. I don't even know their names because they hardly ever say them. There's the dumpy henchman, the useful henchman, and then the henchwoman. They're pretty stereotypical roles for this type of heist movie. So that happens, and then they kind of go on their way, and then they planted a bomb to create a distraction so they could get into this facility to steal the gold. The night before the bomb goes off, the dumpy henchman brings a girl along into this mine to plant the bomb as a date, I guess. Not really a great date, especially because the woman ends up getting captured by the Beast, and the Beast is actually really good in this one. It's got like 2 really long arms. It's got like this kind of humanoid corpsey face that's like kind of caved in, and you don't really see it all that well, and it's all covered in webbing and stuff, so it actually looks pretty good. I was genuinely like, wow, that's actually really cool and interesting for a monster. It's like this humanoid spider thing. This one, I think, is the best of all the movies I watched tonight. So the Beast ends up picking off and the girl, and then they end up leaving and saying, "Oh, this idiot may have blown our cover and stuff." And so then they end up going on their adventure to go to they end up having to stop because a snowstorm comes in, so they have to go into our main hero's lodge that he owns nearby to stay over the storm. And as they do, the first night, one of the main bad henchman, not the dumpy one, is walking along, and he finds the woman from that the dumpy henchman was dating, and she's all strung up in the trees, covered in webs and stuff. And it's actually like really creepy for that kind of for this era of movie. I think it was 1960, early 60s as well. 1961, I think, was this as well. Oh no, this one was way early. This was 30s or or 50s or something. Like, I didn't really look it up. Let me see that again, actually. All of them are actually on Wikipedia, so I'm quite impressed with that. 1959. Yeah, that's this one. 1959. Oh. Had to sneeze. So then basically, so you get some more character development. Like, you find out that the woman wants to leave because the main bad guy is abusive towards her and stuff like that. So it's very more stuff that you've seen in other movies. So then they keep going. So yeah, the storm passes over, and then two of them decide to leave. The good guy and the henchwoman decide to pair up and leave, and they do. And then after that, the beast attacks the cabin again, and it takes off with the good guy's like house servant. Yeah, the house servant is taken away, and the dumpy henchman goes after her, and then he finds the cave. They get captured. Then we jump back to our good guy and the henchwoman, and they discover another storm's on their way, so they have to find cover. The guy just conveniently knows about this cave where the beast is making its lair, and they go there, and then it's like a huge set. It's actually pretty cool. It's like all covered in webs, and it's a giant cavern with webs and stuff. Pretty surprising for this movie. So then they end up finding the dumpy henchman and the servant lady, and the beast gets to them first, and it's a really creepy scene of it crawling up, and then it's just like roaring or screaming in their faces, and then it eats them, and it's actually kind of scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like surprised. I mean, I wasn't scared by it because I've seen better stuff, and it's cheesy, but it would have been scary at the time. So it was really cool. And then our remaining henchman and the boss guy show up at this cave too for some reason, because they went looking and they found it. And then the beast ends up killing off everybody except for the good guy and the henchwoman. And before the boss is killed, he pulls out a flare gun and sets the beast on fire. So the last 2 minutes of this movie is just the henchwoman and the man watching this beast burn alive, basically, and it's just screaming, and it's actually really unsettling. It's this really horrifying scream, and then once the scream ends, it's like the end, no credits, back to main menu, which I gotta throw in a couple pictures here, because holy crap. A picture of the box, the main menu, everything. So now we've got one last movie I watched tonight, The Beast of the Yucca Flats. Yeah. I didn't write the year down. This one is from 1961. I kind of figured. So a lot of the first three movies are kind of from the same era, except for Snowbeast. That one's like made 11 years later than the rest. So The Beast of Yucca Flats is actually the last known acting role of Tor Johnson. He was a big monster. He was a monster guy that worked with Ed Wood a lot in his movies, so kind of cool, interesting there. The one thing I want to note is this movie happens very quickly, but there's chunks that you could just cut out and you wouldn't miss anything. So the plot of this movie is Tor Johnson, I forget his actual character name, is a renowned scientist coming from the Iron Wall or the Iron Curtain, and he's followed he's picked up and he's followed by these KGB guys. There's a little shootout in the flats because they're trying to get him to the base so he can continue his research about the Russian moon landing plans and stuff like that. It's very like science fiction-y basic stuff, Cold War stuff. So this happens, and then Tor Johnson, he kind of calmly stumbles away because he's a giant man. He can't really run. He stumbles away from the fight, and pretty much everybody gets nuked at that point. Literally, they drop a bomb, which is some really cool. Pretty sure, yeah, it's archive footage of a bomb testing. And then Tor Johnson gets mutated into this monster. He kind of forgets his humanity. Then not a lot happens. He kills some people. Cops get called out. Cops find the body and try and look around for what's going on. And then not too far away, there's these kids who are hanging out with their mom and dad. And the kids run off and they go play, and they end up getting lost in the Yucca Flats testing grounds. And then the dad goes after them. The dad is trying to find them. The kids are wandering around. Dad gets shot down by our policemen in a plane because they think he's the one that was killed the two people. So he dies. Then the kid cuts back to the mom wandering around, wondering about what's happening to her family. Cuts back to the kids who wander around. They get spotted by Mr. Mutated Tor. And he kind of follows them for a bit, and then he chases them around. And then the cops find the monster, Tor and the kids. Cops kill the monster. I almost said killed the kids because I really thought Tor Johnson was going to kill the monster. Or kill the kids, and then so then they shoot Tor down. They think he's dead, but he's not. He gets up. The cops shoot him again. Then the kids get back to the mom, and then the cops wander off with the kids. And then it cuts back to Tor Johnson's body, and you find a bunny just kind of walks around up to it. And then you kind of think Tor is the mutated scientist guy is alive, but not really. It's really ambiguous. I think it's supposed to be dead, and Tor just couldn't hold his breath long enough for the shot to be completed. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then the movie ends, and I summed that up really quickly. That movie was 54 minutes long, and it was like a pseudo-silent movie. They didn't use any of the dialogue from like the live shots, so it's all 80-yard in with some narration, so it's pretty great how stone cold some of the delivery was. The more interesting thing I found out about this movie is the Tor Johnson was connected to Ed Wood and all that kind of thing. The most interesting thing is that people online think, and I thought of it too while I was watching it, think that this movie was an inspiration for the comic book character Dr. Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, because the story seems pretty similar. Stuff like that, like the Hulk, both Banner and Tor Johnson get stuck in a nuclear blast trying to escape, and then they get mutated into this creature that doesn't really have a mind at first. It starts killing people and hurting people and stuff like that. That was very early Hulk comics. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give Beast of Yucca Flats a 4 out of 10, I think, for that one, because it was just boring, very drawn out. So that was Beast of Yucca Flats. So the 4 movies overall, I will give Snowbeast a 7 out of 10 because you hardly ever it's well acted, well shot. You don't see anything. So its negative points are you don't see the creature, you don't see the bodies. It's carbon copies Jaws and other like Jaws and stuff. So I'm gonna have to give that 6 out of 10. Creature from the Haunted Sea is bar none for anything. Like, it's not funny. Its plot is too short to be 86 minutes long. It could have been tighter if they just kept it on the boat and the creature's picking off and then everybody gets suspicious of each other, and that would have been a better movie. So that one I'm gonna have to give a 4 out of 10. It had some laughs and some creative stuff, but again, not very good. None of these movies are very good, so 4 out of 10 there. Beast from Haunted Cave, actually, I think I'm gonna have to give a 7 out of 10 because it was actually pretty legit. Like, if you saw this on TV at late at night on like one of those creature feature movies on one of those movie channels, I'd say watch it. It's actually pretty good. I ended up liking it. Characters were pretty well defined, although I couldn't be bothered to remember any of the names. So I'm gonna have to give that one the highest rating, 7 out of 10. So that was Beast from Haunted Cave, and now we have the Beast of Yucca Flats. I'm gonna have to give a 4 out of 10 because again, a lot of it's padded out. You don't really spend too much time with the creature and stuff. So, and it's really stretching what a monster creature is. They put a little makeup on Tor Jensen's forehead, a little blotch on his hand, and that was about it. They tore up his clothing, that was it. And so it was hardly even a beast or a monster or a mutant. It was just, let's throw some makeup, make him look even more scarred than he already does. So that was the first 4 films of the Monster Collection for the Mr. Spook Show. Let me know what you guys think. You could probably find these movies anywhere. Thanks everybody for watching, and keep a lookout for the next 3 parts. So we'll see you next time.